And we're underway. Sunday footy and bright sunshine. Expected that. Jamar came straight at Sandilands. Off the ground by Sandilands. Solomon fell to the ground. Tackled immediately. Got a hand pass away. Melbourne there in number. Bruce's hand pass not so good. Missed by Drum. Charging through was Miller. Comes back towards Drum. He's over the football. Solomon there too. Davey.
Well, Crowley went to Gary Ablett last week. He's gone to Nathan Jones this week. So they've picked him, Jones, Fremantle, as the #1 midfielder to target.
So Jamar being very physical against Sandilands early, and with Jeff White starting on the interchange.
Thanks, guys.
Gee, the start's important, Tim. We've talked about it. But Melbourne, they were in the game against Geelong, obviously, at Stewart Stadium, in a match that they probably had very little realistic chance of winning. But they've got a chance today if they can be with Freo in the first half. Dockers themselves have been pretty poor in opening quarters, but they led Geelong for nearly the whole match. Sandilands kick in and Solomon hard. Palmer's handball was good. Here's Ibbotson, who can kick a goal, and it's a good-looking kick, and they're on the board. The Dockers get the first.
We're talking to some of the Docker people last week at the conclusion of that game. They've been really happy with the performance of Solomon. Doesn't get a lot of the ball, but he's hard, he's aggressive. There's a great tackle there by Carroll. He couldn't escape, he got the hands out. And they had the numbers around the ball. This is where they were able to share. Ibbotson, who's been terrific since he came into this side, and that's a great start for Fremantle.
Garrick Ibbotson, nice goal.
Averaging 22 touches and 3 clearances, so for a young player that stepped into AFL football, he's doing particularly well.
Jamar, awkward situation to hurt Sandilands there. Awkward bounce, no contact really. Ibbotson's over the football. He's tackled by McLean. High tackle is the call. So Ibbotson has started well. A couple of early touches, goes out wide, chance for Crowley. He's about 60 metres from home. And there's a man on in the middle. That's Tarrant. It was ignored. Tarrant continues to run. Got there, some holding. And Garland comes away. A little chip towards the outer side. Thornton overcommitted. Bate leads back. Didn't have the football. Bit stiff. Coming through is Davey. Well done by Davey. To his own advantage. Then goes back to McLean. McLean towards half forward. Good mark, Miller. Miller right on the 50. Plays on to Robertson. Robertson long to full forward. Green. I just love him on the forward line. He's such a good player.
Right on the line, knocked him over, not the contest. 50. Out, boys.
They're the 3 key forwards that'll need to have big games this afternoon. Miller, Robertson, and also this bloke Green.
Green comes in, gets the goal. Scores the level of the G.
He's been in terrific form, Brad Green. He's been averaging 25 touches in the last 3 weeks. Just see a physical start. Both sides will just test each other out in the early part of this game. You see Brock McLean kicking the ball forward. This is a great grab here by Miller, almost crashing into Robbo. Got the handball off and then just kicking the ball deep to Brad Green. And we know he's a good finisher. I mean, he's not going to miss from there, but he is capable of kicking goals up and around the 50-metre arc. But it was well done the way they moved the ball forward there in Melbourne.
So one goal kicker to another to David Neitz, the long-time captain, club record holder for the number of games played and number of games leading the club. Hopefully he'll be able to play some footy towards the end of the year, out injured. So Green, 4 goals against Carlton here a couple of weeks ago and a good start, so all square.
High tackle. Across the face, straight to him, please.
They've got to go spread on here. Sandlin's gone out wide on his own.
So Bell, such an important player. Now Ibbotson again. Neat kick out wide.
Hold of the jumper here.
Well, Tarrant's first touch, but he's not going to get a kick. It's going to be a free kick for holding on against Jeff Farmer.
Time ticking. Guys, don't lose it. Don't give it away.
I guess the matchup would have been Whelan Farmer that everyone would have expected, wouldn't they, before Whelan withdrew.
Here's the free kick. Here's Garland, who's standing Farmer there. And there's a tug on the jumper, ever so slightly. Ever so slightly.
So Farmer right in front. He's might have missed it. He might have had pity on his old team for a moment, I reckon. He doesn't miss too often from a set shot, Farmer.
Maybe he looked up and saw the replay.
Mate, can you put it off?
It looked a bit soft, you're right.
You can't shepherd him, okay? Because the ball's more than 5 metres away there. If you shepherd him...
An honest man.
Okay?
What has looked a bit worrisome for Melbourne in the early part is how loose their defenders have been the 2 times Fremantle have come forward.
Bruce to the outer side. This is McDonald and their midfielders around those stoppages after those last 2 free kicks. There's a push in the back. Ibbotson will get another free. He started brilliantly. Fremantle able to peel off out in front of the Great Southern Stand as Tarrant gets a kick. Long into the forward line. Pavlich was the target. Off hands. This is Crawley. Comes away and finds White, who's on the ground now. So they made the tag. Jamar to White. Jamar's role to come out and make contact a little bit with Sandilands. This is Carroll. Has a decision to make here, but at his best in a hairy situation. Comes out towards right half back. McLean.
They would have been doing a lot of work on this during the week, just clearing the ball from their defensive 50. They really struggled to get any fluency at this part of the ground last week.
Carroll to McLean. Not sure about the kick. Farmer comes back with wonderful courage. Watamiri came through and missed him, and now Tarrant inside the forward 50 has taken the mark about 35-40 metres out.
He's been free on 4 occasions when they've moved the ball inside their attacking half. This is great courage here by Farmer.
Just not sure about non-skilled teams, all fairness to Melbourne, but handling the ball too much. Sometimes it's simple policy is the best policy. Down the middle, Long, Green, Robertson, those sort of players on the forward line. But now it's Tarrant from 50. Needs a goal for his confidence. Likes it off the boot. Terrific, Chris Tarrant.
Well, that's a great start for him. As I mentioned before, each time the ball's gone into their attacking half, he's been free. They just seem to be a little lost at the moment, Melbourne. Here's their attempt to actually clear the ball. Courageous mark here by Farmer. Perhaps Davey could have done a little bit more to intercept that ball. But then on the turnover, Tarrant just got free, and that's a good finish by him. And that's an area of his game he's really struggled in.
So Tarrant needing a good start and getting it.
Gee, was Fremantle very confused with who's in the centre square. Twice they had 3 men in there.
Don't push him in the square. Don't push him in. It'll be a free kick.
So Michael Johnson and Brent Maloney there. So from the centre, Mundy's quick kick back to half forward. Mark Johnson, big day for him. Baton, Solomon. And Solomon just winning it. Warnock over the top. Gone. So the Demons just need to stay in touch here. And this is the area that Tim was talking about. Just the way they can get the ball out of the defensive 50. They've had it in there a lot this year. That's been ridiculous. Frawley. And it's a good tackle. And
he was well held in. Had hold of his jumper before the ball even arrived there, Nathan Jones.
Did very well, didn't he, against the Mods. And Davey wide to Miller. So second mark for Miller early in this match.
That's a great sign.
Green took off, but he went back inside to White, who goes back to McLean, getting a fair bit of it. Now he can attack down the corridor, decides not to. Maloney now on the burst.
Robertson calling for it long, goes in that direction, or does he? No, behind Robertson. Sandilands, well, have to look at that. Palmer in the back pocket, decides to run it up. Impressive youngster still going. Look at that. Wonderful acceleration. Left them in his wake. A little chip. Tarrant thought it was running on. It didn't. Crawley just got fingertips to it. Got it across the boundary line.
And Melbourne will try and work Sandilands over. Already they've made the change. Jamar's gone to the bench and White's on the field, and he'll try and move around as much as he possibly can. Play more of a ruck-roving role.
White in front. Make it a free kick.
Nathan Jones.
Off the pack.
Hold against you.
Nothing to do with the ruckman.
That's the one they've been watching the umpires all weekend. That's the tagging player trying to stop the midfielder.
Jones to White. He goes short. Watamiri
He's got some tricks, this bloke, Dennis.
Right on the wing, yes. He's kicked a few goals. Robbo missed it. Oh, dear. McFarlane's hand pass untidy. Johnson too easily through back to Bell. Bell swings it out wide. Lovely kick. Crowley goes down towards half forward. Tarrant on the move again. Looking sharp. He's got it 55 metres out. Pavlich wants it long. It's headed in that direction. Oh, well done. Going back with courage. Rivers angles a punch across the line.
Tarrant's been fantastic in the early part of this game. He's been the conduit between half back and forward, just running all over the forward line.
White to Robertson. So Robbo to Maloney. Now Maloney's last kick was a shocker. He went straight to Sandlands. That's better, but too far for Wanamiri. Contested ball now. Here is Wanamiri. It was Davey earlier. Well done, Wanamiri. Back to McLean, getting a lot of it early. And Miller, who's had a lively start, a third mark for him, but this one tellingly is inside the 50.
Well, that's what he does really well, Miller. He actually pushes to the ball. He provides a target. Great play by Wanamiri here just to clear the ball, and then smart kick from McLean.
Kicked a couple last week, Miller, against the Lions at the Gabba. So inside 40 metres, tightish angle, probably about 60 degrees, not a good kick. Won't be a score, but it might be a mark. Still in play. Green, a left footer. He's got Robbo out wide. Robertson, half a chance. Couldn't quite get the purchase. And well done by O'Brien getting back there along with Mundy, and they pushed it through from behind. So the Demons are 7 and the Dockers at 14.
Mundy to bring it in then. Interesting start. Melbourne getting plenty of the footy. Fremantle so far showing the finesse, Tim. Mundy close to the boundary line. Gilmore led inclusion for Headland. Drives it around the outer side. He's a lovely kick. Shammer feeds it inside. Crowley, nice move by the Dockers from end to end down towards full forward. Pavlich, did he have the football? Play on's the call. Bruce, too long, intended for Jones. That was a wonderful tackle though. Bell goes after Farmer. Farmer paddles it in front. Frawley stood his ground nicely. Garland, Bruce, low down. Bell a problem. Bell and Johnson. Johnson did well. Worked under him.
Dragged it in, Mark. You
Not
dragged
well
it in, you
enough.
must get it out, please. Thank you.
So Bell has played every game this year, but he wasn't going to play today, but he came in for Whelan to White. High possessions in the early part of this season, White, because he was the #1 draft pick when the Dockers first came into the competition and played for them.
Over the shoulder.
Robertson.
No advantage. Straight to him.
So Green makes the first lead, and he's going to honour it. Never really got a crack at it. Gilmore got back and filled the hole. Jamer, well done. And then had no one really to go to, and the ball hits the post and another behind. So Melbourne having no trouble getting it inside 50, but they're having problems doing it cleanly. McManus on the rebound now.
Garland leads in the race. Knocked it in front of himself. Doing well like Foster. Wins a free kick.
Push. Let him up. Let him up. Let him up, both you get up. Give him the footy straight back.
This is where Melbourne need to tighten up.
Gilmore.
Yeah, Mark.
Outer side wing.
This is better.
Play on.
Shammer offers. Gilmore told to play on. Takes something off the kick. Here's Palmer. Right on the wing then. Murphy a lead. Very wide. That's ignored.
Good matchup that. McLean and Palmer.
Well done by Palmer. Likes to run it. Kicks inside the 50. Pavlich again. Flying over the top. Fisted away by White. Following up Palmer. Went to ground. Might get a free kick.
No, you got him in the face. That's a free kick. Head over the footy.
Great
Slapped him in the
hard work.
face. Yeah, mate.
In fact, it's going to Foster.
But that's just a soft, silly free kick to be giving away.
Play on.
Plays on. Mundy inside the 50. Hangs it out to the right. Does not come back.
That's it. 3 more. 1 more. That's it now. Just mark it for me, mate.
So Docker's missing some chances. Farmer, the obvious one earlier. Wheatley to bring it in. Straight down the middle to White, the target. Front spot, Gilmore, Jamar at the back. Shammer, well done. Got through. Palmer's busy early, isn't he? Sweeps out the handball out wide. Mundy back to Palmer. Palmer inside the 50. Not a bad looking kick coming back. He's got his first goal at the MCG.
It was right inside. Wait. Just watch that line, mate.
Reece Palmer, he missed the opening game of the season for Fremantle on this ground against Collingwood in controversial circumstances, was left out, and he's looking very good today. Finding it and doing something with it. Gilmore doing the ruck work, missed the football. Well done by McDonald to grab it out of there. Jamar trying to help.
You're not going anywhere. Thanks, guys.
Another bounce.
Well, this is when they've got the advantage. Sandlands is now off the ground, so they've got a height advantage here with Jamar against Gilmore, and a strength advantage too.
They need to win it in the midfield. Their forward line, I think, can deliver Melbourne today and keep them in the game. Free kick to Melbourne, going to Davey. Robertson leading back, need to get it down quickly. Bate comes on a lead. He comes out wide to Wheatley, and Wheatley has marked 75 metres out to McLean. Dropping back is White, that's ignored. Goes looking for the lead from Miller, couldn't hang on, spilled it. Dodd's got it now to Bell. Bell deep in his own defensive area. Clever kick. Shammer in the shadows. Tracking it on the outer side is Mundy. Nice kick. Casual kick but effective, and Solomon, the veteran, runs around the outer side. What a good pickup he's been. Pavlich in position A, almost the mark, held by the arm.
Dragged him down by the arm. Come on, mate. No, you drag him. No, you can't, whether you're in a contest, mate, you can't drag him down. I'm not going to watch it. Right out.
It's interesting the way they talk to umpire James players. I have a bit of a poll I do amongst them, send them a letter inquiring of players their thoughts, and clearly he's their favourite umpire by a massive margin.
And clearly that was a free kick too.
Clearly it was, but there seemed almost some reverence from Nathan Carroll there in his dealings with the umpy. Pavlich comes in and hits the post. Now, he's hit the post more than any other player, I think, in the last 2 seasons.
His last 2 kicks hit the post?
Yes, last 2 shots. He's gone back to back.
They went on Friday night, just kissed the post. That one actually hit the post.
I think it's 17 in the last 2 years.
What's that say about him, Dan?
He's a poster boy. The posters.
So Garland, poor handball, McManus. Morton put the tackle on him, and then McLean. It's a shabby handball again. Foster getting involved with Bartram. So Melbourne not doing very well here.
Well, there was a decision-making error made by Garland because he was actually moving forward. He invented a handball when he didn't, and then there was the execution then of the second handball, and they're just down on confidence.
So Shammer brought to ground.
But he no prior up, taken possession and tackled straight away. Ball wasn't going anywhere.
Green up the field for the moment. So Foster and Palmer and McLean and McManus.
Come over the shoulder. Sean, your arm, yes. Let him up, please, where you are.
So lots of instructions coming from the umps. Read their decisions. Davey did well. Kick by Garland and then missed by White. Dodd and Shammer run down. Thornton back to Dodd. Little kick out wide, and he has looked lively, Tarrant.
Looked terrific. Just chips it down towards the attacking 50 to his mate Solomon, who hugs the boundary with a kick. Pavlich got to his move early. He's loose, he kicks, and he misses. Not only the goal, but the post.
So they look so much more dangerous Fremantle on the turnover than what Melbourne do. They're able to actually instigate some real play and some drive off half back.
Bartram to Bruce. Goes down towards half forward. Wanamiri. Will he take on the man on the mark? No. Morton coming on the angle across half forward. Jamar is free at centre half forward. Sandland's taking a long time to get to him. Meantime, Davey around the corner, and Morton, who kept coming, is marked on the 50.
Your call's right there, Dennis. I mean, when they get the ball at half forward like they did, they've just got to roll on and make something happen further down the field. Just move the ball into their forward zone quickly. Yep. They're still outside 50, whereas they could have been inside there 2.5 minutes ago. The forwards will react.
Bruce. And they kick it in so deep, it's very close to goal and comes off hands like that. Tim, we've got to do something.
Well, just keep highlighting it, Den.
The third rush behind for them, and that's got a lot to do with the way they're bringing the ball in, isn't it?
Fremantle rush the behinds more than any other side in the competition, by the way. They are quite happy at just being able to spoil the ball over the line, reset, and then clear the ball. They're good from this. They're good from a kick in.
So McFarlane wide, and then Shammer, and away Drum. So Drum's kick is a good one to McManus. It's been a remarkable footballer, McManus, with all the knee problems he's had over the years. Still playing very well at 32. He's kicked to the pocket, and terrific mark.
Clean him up, Jared. That's the way. Arms out.
Pavlich stuck that.
He just draws the ball, though, doesn't he? Like, he was probably in the worst position of three other forwards that were inside their attacking 50, but he just draws the footy. There he is, just pointing to where he wants the ball to go, and now he'll double back.
And he's got a good frame, and he used it well, didn't he?
He's a big block of a lad.
So a couple of behinds today. One of them a poster. He's got a good record at the MCG. Averages over 4 goals a game in his last 7. And that one never a chance. So 3 behinds to Matthew Pavlich in this opening term. And it has been a wasteful first quarter for the Dockers. That's a similar scoreline to last week, actually, against Geelong. 3-6 to 1-3. It's about what it was, I think, at quarter time. It's not the Cats trying to run them down today, I guess. It's Melbourne. McDonald.
Towards half forward, Bate. Gathers the bouncing ball. Not a good kick, though. This is O'Brien. First gamer. Crossed the ground. At least I think he is. I'll check that. I'm sure he is. And this is Mundy. Mundy from half back. Gee, they're finding some space. Solomon coming on the lead. Farmer knocked away by Bell. They battle after it. Jones, willing worker, only as far as Farmer, who left it behind. In trouble, Crowley. Jones chopped it off, and just as well it was intended for Farmer. He burrows in, taken to ground. He'll have the ball up.
Never dived on it.
O'Brien did make his debut last year. Round 22.
Tarrant's now gone to the goal square against Frawley. Size advantage there if they can get the ball quickly.
Thanks, Bruce. This is his second game then. I'll work that part out. Close to the line, Sandilands. Johnson bounces it down towards full forwards and holding on. And Frawley will get the free kick 4 minutes out from quarter time.
So plenty of work to do in the opening term, Frawley. Still a teenager.
You, mate, you.
High draft picked in the 2006 take. Johnson back to Murphy. And then Murphy, not a great kick inside the 50. Tarrant wrestled to the ground there by Garland. No free kick. Then Frawley in slow motion. Johnson did well. Pavlich back to Tarrant. Decided not to go and have a shot. He brings it back as a good kick to Ibbotson. Gee, Melbourne were just indecisive, weren't they?
They're just slow to react, aren't they? They're a side playing without any confidence. Judging by how far this kick from Ibbotson, or the first kick from Ibbotson that was a goal, went through, he'll have no problem whatsoever making the distance from here.
And remember last week, Tim, well, you were with us, Asubi, he kicked a goal outside 50 from a set shot. Thumping kick.
I was there, Bruce. I was just very quiet last Friday night.
Were you there? Sorry. Well, there you go. It was a terrible kick in the end. It was a terrible piece of commentary and a worse kick, but a good mark by Pavlich. Somebody help me.
No, it was a good piece of commentary. Tim's got to work hard.
I called this beautifully too. I said he had no trouble making the distance.
We've just been to Subiaco so often in the last fortnight, haven't we?
Yeah, Tim, have you got a card?
I still had an invitation to Mrs. C's place for a sandwich.
Well, 3 behinds to Matthew Pavlich. Dennis has told us how many times he's hit the post in the last couple of years. He should go from here, and he's got his first. And the Dockers are away in the opening term.
And the problems that beset Melbourne last week are evident already in the first part of this game, and that is clearing the ball from the defensive part of the ground quickly. Here's the kick from Ibbotson. Just didn't get a piece of that at all. And as we see so often, it was the forward that reacted quickest to the poor kick.
Could get a bag today, couldn't he, Pav?
if they get this sort of supply.
Well, right now Fremantle are playing as if they've had the burrito special at Grumpy's Mexican. They're finding a lot of space. There's the bounce. Umpire Avon. 3 men in charge today. James, Stewart and Avon. Palmer once more. Again bouncing the footy aggressively down a half forward. Johnson, good pluck. Hits the ground running. Tarrant on the lead.
Therein lies the difference, Dennis. As soon as he hit the ground, Johnson, he swiveled around, created the play. Tarrant read it down the field further and then provided the lead. But he actually forced that play. Good play here by Palmer again. He's a very good ball controller. Here he is, bang.
At 20.
So Chris Tarrant. Been so lively in this term from 40 metres out. He's got another one. Tarrant is back in town.
It's great to see, isn't it? Somebody who's really struggled in their AFL career to come back and to find the ball like he has in the early part of this game. It is a poor defensive effort from Melbourne, but here's Reece Palmer again. He actually runs and carries the ball. He's been a terrific acquisition as a youngster. And there it is. Johnson hits the ground. Tarrant reacts as soon as he sees Johnson hit the ground, runs into that space. It's a 15-metre kick.
So a horror start for Melbourne yet again. Biggest score for the Dockers under Mark Harvey in any match in the opening term.
Sandilands has now gone to the goal square, and all the other Freo players have moved up the ground away from him.
So Gilmore doing the work in the ruck. Foster was in there first, but held up.
Come on, Brent. Yes, Brent. Straight back, guys.
So Maloney there, played a couple of seasons at Geelong. He's in his 4th season now with the D's. White front spot. Gilmore did really well to get over the top. Wheatley has earned a free kick.
Paul Wheatley's kick. Paul Wheatley in the back. Straight back, mate. Go on.
So Melbourne just with about 90 seconds to do something in this opening term. McDonald got it from Wheatley. Not a good kick, but Davey Wanamiri, I should say, held up for a moment. Well done, though, to McLean. McLean's kick inside the 50. Green on the lead. I think Robbo Half was going to go for it. Goes back to Robertson from Miller. And then the kick to the goal square. Over the top of Jamar. Shamma getting back to Gilmore. And then Gilmore down the line. It's a well-weighted kick. Johnson, though, it's a bit of a problem here. Bell outran him for the moment. Then Johnson did well. Garland hasn't quite got control of it. Now goes back inside to Bruce, and then Bruce to Bell.
Bell on the wing. White. Maloney, 70 metres from goal. Well, the other Bell. Gee whiz. Bell.
He read it so well then, Peter Bell.
Vast experience. Solomon, been very handy. Ibbotson around the outer side, running down towards half forward. Pavlich punched away by Carroll, working overtime. McDonald to Wheatley. Wheatley goes for distance. Bate in best position, should mark and does. Now he's 70 metres out. We're down to 8 seconds. So watch that clock, Bruce. Don't take your eyes off the clock. It's running again. Well, they'll run it down themselves here. Kicks from 70, but he's too far out to score. Balls in the air. And we presume that's time. 5-6 to 1-3 quarter time. Sunday football of the G, and Melbourne have made a horror start. Some worries there. Leo McKern was missing, but the crowd loved vitriol of the Bailey. Down goes Bruce. Hand pass over the shoulder from White. Coming up the ground there, Mundy getting back quickly. Palmer, he's got an appetite for it, swings it across the ground. How are they getting free either side of the centre circles at those set plays? Solomon, who fanned out, kicks inside the 50. Pavlich had it punched away by Rivers. It's out of bounds in the pocket. Pavlich wants to argue the point there. Said his arms were grabbed and the umpire 5 metres away. And the Pav does it with his smile. A wry smile to umpire Stewart. So boundary throw in.
Sandilands and White. Sandilands probably got the tap, and then got the clearance, but it didn't actually get past the contest again. And Solomon crashing in hard. He's had a terrific start again today. Ibbotson brought to the ground by White.
No prior opportunity. Sorry, fellas, ball was locked there.
Here's where he's so dangerous, Sandilands. Inside 50 here at a stoppage.
Holding.
Bang.
Yep, Bell free kick.
In the back.
Oh, was his tap that actually set up Bell?
Aaron, just go away, you got the free kick. No, he fell straight into his back.
And one of the big stories of the week, I would have imagined, in Perth was the fact that Peter Bell's leaving Geraldton to go back to Perth, and
Peter, stay there. Here's
means he can train with the club, and who knows? I mean, he's certainly playing well enough to play again next year.
That's right.
He's on 280, he'd get to 300.
Whose idea was it, Dennis, for him to come back and live in Perth?
I think he surprised the club by saying he would.
I think his wife's working back in Perth, or got a job back there, and that's part of it as well. But he's kicked the goal. What a remarkable footballer he's been over a long period of time.
We talked about Sandlin's amazing game last Friday night. He really was the general out there on the field, and here he is again. He is just so tall. That was just a swat, but they cleared that path for Bell to run into. It was a set play. They're inside their 50, and then this is a good finish by Bell. But he just gives the players at ground level such an armchair ride, Sandler's.
And despite the fact he's been in Geraldton, his form this season has been pretty good, coming off a season's high 31 against Geelong on Friday Night Football. Sandilands wary of White. White knocked it down. Solomon got it. Here the umpire. Helped on its way there, McDonald. Leading in the race, Bell. Quickly after it. Dodd lost it. Green dug it out of there. McLean nicely worked. McDonald to Wheatley alongside the centre circles to half forward. Guanamiri has marked it. Right on the 50. Now he's got a decision to make. If he goes long, he needs to score. Don't put it too close to the goal, young man. Sends it long down towards full forward. They didn't touch it. McFarlane wants a free. It went through its shoulder height. All clear.
Well, that's been the most positive bit of play so far this afternoon. They won the ball well on the wing, and they're actually able to share the ball. They opened up the central part of the ground. Here they go. This is a constructive handball. That's a great handball again. Then Wheatley had a couple of options on. In the end, he made the correct decision. And I actually thought when Guanamiri marked this ball that he might have been too far. He's kicked from outside 50, but it's carried the distance with a good bit of work on the line here from Jamar.
So the rookie grew up on Melville Island, which is about 100 k's from Darwin, and then played a bit of footy at Tiwi Islands and down to Nord in South Australia eventually. But he looks like he might have star written over him, doesn't he? He's kicked 3 last week. Look at Sandilands, just as good as a kick as he belts it towards the 50. Then Tarrant just fishing for it a bit. Wheatley, who was involved in the last goal. Frawley got it from Carroll. This is better. And then Bruce. Bates' half volley was good. A chance here because Wheatley's got it. Decided not to kick. Back to White. Back to Bates. He's a left footer. Didn't go with it. Now they're in trouble. Palmer has been outstanding. Terrific handball to Dodd, to Ibbotson. And then Ibbotson to not to Mundy, to Murphy, I should say. And then back to Bell. And then Bell on the left will find Pavlich. Well, a promising build-up was thwarted in the heart of the centre square. Pavlich drills the pass, and Tarrant unable to hold it. So Melbourne with a chance here as Carroll comes wide, and they've got it to the right bloke now.
I'm going to say there's not a bad crowd here, and they're making noise for Melbourne. Davey towards half forward, low down. Miller's been lively. Robertson drops back, goes in that direction. Okay, one out. Robbo in front. Could have almost got a free kick. Fell in front. Dodd, Sandlands, crowd not amused. Thornton, Crowley, well, missing it. Coming through there was O'Brien. Crowley goes after it, taken high surely. No free kick. Knocked out of there by Guanamiri. Inside the 50, the big guy went down, found it on the deck, gave it to Dodd. Now it's Drum pushing up the ground. Jones is running back hard. Can he give a cover? Well, it's 2-on-1. Wonderful mark taken by Farmer. 3-on-2 momentarily.
Well, Bell just stood there and said, jump on my shoulder.
Did he? So Farmer's got it.
Bit of lip reading, Dan.
They're very good. 150 metres out. Melbourne would like that. There goes the kick towards full forward. Couple of metres out, helped on its way by Rivers across the line.
Just watch this. You can read Bell's lips here. Just jump on my shoulders, Jeffrey.
You're right.
Got 2 balls on the ground. Knock one off. Thanks. Thanks, Matthew.
So Bruce to bring it back in, but the last couple of minutes has probably been the most exciting footy so far of the match. A bit of end-to-end stuff. I feel like Melbourne has lifted it just a little. They need to do something on the scoreboard, don't they?
Yep.
Gee, Davey will get a second crack though. To White. There's just a little bit more urgency about it at the moment. There's a poor handball. I won't speak too quickly. White goes back to Frawley. Farmer to Solomon. Well, that's not a good kick, but it's going to roll through for a goal. There you go. Solomon wobbles it through, and they get another one. Tim, what was I saying about urgency and gosh?
Well, during the week, 5 Melbourne players were asked where they're going wrong at the moment. Jones said decision-making's poor. Jeff White said accepting the new game plan. They're a little bit tardy in that area. Green said skills not up to scratch. Maloney said they've got to be better in the first 3 quarters of the game. And Cameron Bruce said they need to play instinctively.
They're all right.
I reckon they're right. I reckon we actually saw that the last passage of play.
Solomon getting a breather, 49 plays 15. Melbourne showing a bit there momentarily, getting the footy, but then just making a hash of it. We saw some binge hand passing. Is that what the league are concerned about? It's not binge hand passing, is it? There goes the kick out of the middle by Gilmore. Going back with courage was Bruce to his own advantage. Swings it out wide. Now White is breaking hard. Bartram goes to him. And White's been a chief offender for hand passing. Just kick it. And I think the crowd is suggesting you do that too. Barely further than a hand pass taken by Bell. Slams it on the boot. That's better. Yes, Robbo's come up and taken the mark. Forward of the wing, Russell Robertson. Ticket to Kate Sobrano. There he goes down towards the attacking 50. Behind the mark is held by McFarlane. Far too easy. And again, Fremantle working hard off the ball, spreading. Here's Johnson. Outside the defensive 50. Melbourne need the next goal. Otherwise, you think this one might already be gone. Chris Tarrant. Terrific comeback this afternoon.
And that kick, White and Mundy. Well, they had the numbers, but Mundy just beat 2 of them, and they were 2 of the better ones, White and McLean. Bruce at the back made the spoil. Maloney with McManus. Bartram, was it high? Probably not. Bell. Oh, brilliantly done by Farmer. Cut it off, runs in, and kicks his first goal, and the 8th for the Dockers.
Well, that was great defensive pressure there from Freo, and this is an area of their game that they improved last Friday night against Geelong too. Here's the winning of the ball first, and that's just an instinctive kick. He actually kicked to a 2-on-3 at that stage, but then they worked hard. There's Shammer, there's McManus applying the tackle, Shammer again, and then they coughed the ball up, and that's as simple as you would possibly ever have it on an AFL field.
Margin 40 points. Goes without saying.
You're a lip reader, Dennis. What do you say?
Get on my back and take a mark. Here's a bounce. Oh, you mean Bailey? He wasn't happy. Oops.
Both holding each other.
Heard the umpire. Green improvising, did well. McManus could have been pushed in the back. Davey took him to ground.
No, Pryor. Didn't dive on it. Held to him straight up. Thanks, Sean.
So bounce inside the centre square. Dockers in control. Lead it by 40. Gilmore, late inclusion as we said. Flicks it over the shoulder. Taken by Bruce to half forward. Good Mark Miller.
And what does that say? I mean, that's just a scrubby kick from a stoppage, but you get the ball there quickly.
To Davey, and Davey has to beat some men. He beat 2, not the 3rd. Hand passes forward. Coming through McFarlane. Swings it out wide. In space McManus. Can he get through? Going to the ground to Dodd. Back it comes to Drum. He's an emerging player, Drum, like him. Bell, Shammer. Short one. Foster. And now scuttling away is Farmer towards half forward. Johnson's been lively. Back to Farmer. 70 metres from goal. Pavlich clears a path for himself. Goes back. That's a lot of body to move. Pavlich running in will check side and kick a goal.
All clear.
Well, that's just ridiculously easy. Melbourne had the ball inside their 50 where Miller took the mark. It was a good mark. He handballed it on here to Dave. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. He twisted and turned, got himself into trouble, and then they just didn't work hard enough to get back into a defensive position, and that's just body strength from Pavlich, just getting Jared Rivers out of the way far too easily.
Yeah, well, look, Grace.
Smart footballer, isn't he, Pavlich? He just plays the percentages so well, and he did that extremely well. So the hierarchy there, Melbourne, Paul Gardner and Paul McNamee.
Having trouble staying awake, Paul Gardner.
It's going to be a long day at the G unless something happens in a hurry. But McDonald quickly out of the 50 to the Bronx. Cheers. White made a contest. Robertson, Miller hooking back. They've got one.
There was an enormous Bronx cheer then from the Melbourne fans when Melbourne actually kicked the ball. That's all they need to do. Just simplify this game plan. Get the ball into the forward line as quickly as you can. Make a contest. Try and win the ball back again. Here we go. Up at the centre bounce. Tap. Out of there from McDonald. Kick it long. Okay, it's a scrubby kick. It's a 2-on-2 here. They don't actually take the ball in the air. Comes to ground. Robbo handballs it away to Miller, and you screw the ball over your shot. Let's just simplify it and see whether or not they can't win their way back into this game.
Away we go. On the way down. In fact, he was landed, J-Mar. Goes again, could have been taken high, taken down as Shammer. And you're right, Tim, that was a scrubby kick inside the forward line. But what you've got to appreciate in this situation is Melbourne speak scrubby fluently. That's what they're about, aren't they?
Well, it's their second language at the moment.
Exactly, so they understand what's going to happen with a bad kick better than Fremantle do. Think scrubby. Bartram gets back. Over the shoulder. Came from Bruce. Jones in trouble. That was a good tackle by Shammer. Got him down. That's going to be holding it.
Was free and he spun around.
They've got to be out quicker here.
He thought he'd break the tackle. Here's Palmer putting on a clinic. Not his best kick though. In front, Rivers takes the mark. Now, not much to go to, although Bruce gets free. But a little too late. And now the kick close to the boundary line is juggled across by Bate, who's back in the side today and a little bit rusty.
He's played 3 games at Sandringham, just coming back after that bad hamstring he copped in the NAB challenge. And Sandilands, Ibbotson, got a bit of purchase, kicks to the pocket. Frawley, Tarrant got a beautiful bounce, and then a clever kick.
Oh, clear, Chris. Out here.
Well, that's a touch of class.
It's your day when that happens, isn't it?
It is your day. You'd be surprised at how often AFL players practice kicking those dribblers along. Here's the Sandlands again. I mean, that's a beautiful palm to Ibbotson. That's a grubby kick again to a one-on-one contest. Frawley just couldn't pick it up. He knew exactly what he was doing there, no Tarrant. He laid the ball across his boot, got the right spin.
Takes a bit of doing that. Chris Tarrant deep in the pocket. What's he thinking?
All right, straight up.
Former Fremantle coach Chris Connolly had so much to do with Fremantle's development, particularly off-field. Bartram swings it down towards half forward. Pitches in no man's land. Bruce could be the first to arrive. Gets away from O'Brien, close to the boundary line. Bruce, little chip. Wanamiri inside the 50, gets a hand pass away. Bate away on his left foot. Oh dear, a behind.
So Bate with a miss. He's an important inclusion today.
Was that intentional before, Dennis, when you said that Bate looks a bit rusty?
I think so.
Robertson to White. Now they should get a goal here. Decided not to handball and then puts the ball high in the air. Miller getting back. Bate couldn't to McFarlane. Now why White didn't move the ball on quickly to Bate, I'm not sure, because it was all on his own. Miller, good contest. It's been okay, Miller, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's provided a target for them. You would not like to play in the forward line the way they move the ball around, though, Melbourne. They are so indecisive.
So Ibbetson's kick inside gets to O'Brien.
O'Brien across half back then. 67 plays 23 halfway through the term. Ibbetson. Good for some of these youngsters like Ibbetson and Palmer. Chance to get the footy, find some space. Their development will be helped in a game like this, but would expect Melbourne to at least come back in the third term a little. Sit down and address their problems. Boundary throw in. Mind you, they've had all week coming into this. There's McDonald slung. McLean a little tentative, didn't want it as much as Solomon. Bruce back to McLean. Kept going. Davey, that's a good grab. Runners alongside, ignores those. It's one-on-one up the field. Fremantle haven't gotten in back yet, but Davey taking a long time and kicks it to Farmer. Farmer hasn't got the football. I don't know. Bell, Gilmore, in fact it's Johnson who got it. Little chip inside the 50. Jamar, favoured by the bounce, slips it back, intended for Warnock. Emerging from the pack is Foster, and he's put it out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket.
Had plenty more time than Foster too, didn't realise it.
And Davey let off the hook there. So here's Morton to Miller. And then Miller down the line. And Bate just pushed out, no free kick. Robertson's handball missed the target. Ibbetson should have had a free a moment ago. Bell, well done. He slipped one tackle, couldn't slip the other. But in close quarters, Dodd was very good.
McManus.
And away goes Palmer. And here is McManus, Tim. And Solomon, who's had so much space today, hasn't he? And then Solomon goes to the pocket, and Farmer on a lead.
That's just terrible football there by Melbourne, though. They saw the ball was going to be turned over. At that point, you've actually got to start to move towards your direct opponent. It's just non-thinking football.
Stay that line, Jeff.
There wasn't a Melbourne player within 50 metres of McManus or Solomon out on this flank.
That's 20 seconds.
He missed a very easy shot in the opening term, Farmer, and then the one he got in the second was a give-me running goal. This is a tight one. It's a good-looking kick. He's given it a chance, not quite, and it'll be rushed through for a behind.
Raiders out.
I mean, that's one thing, without harbouring the point, I mean, that's one thing you can do, whether you're in form or you're out of form, is actually pick up a direct opponent or a player that's free. As soon as it appears the ball's going to turn over.
Yep, nothing to do with ability, that. Wheatley. Oh, wow.
50.
Garland's going to get 50 because he was claimed by Farmer, who wasn't in the contest.
Why would you just pay advantage there?
Well, I was going to say, as it turns out, even that's hurt them. So the 50 takes Garland to midfield.
Went over the mark, Jeff.
Bate breaks for him. That's a terrible kick towards Bate. Bate couldn't take the mark. Should have. Paddles it across to McLean. That's a beautiful kick. Wanamiri has marked about 35 metres out, slight angle.
Well,
Austin Wanamiri.
He's looked as dangerous as any Melbourne player on the ground this afternoon. You're right about Bate. He's a little bit rusty. Dennis finally got the ball out in front of him, but this is a good kick inside their 50.
2 metres.
Okay.
Here we go.
10-8 plays 3-5. Melbourne at the moment out of touch. 7 minutes out, 7.5 minutes from half-time. Wanamiri has missed. Well, to get back in it, they've got to kick a couple of back-to-back goals. Rick, what's happening?
Well, if you're wondering where Melbourne are going to get the goals from, things are worse now because Russell Robinson has just limped off the ground. He's been assessed by the doctor at the moment. Just walking around the boundary, he was looking very sore.
Not good news, is it, for the D's? The leading goal kicker coming into today at 11. Green had 9 before today's match. There's Robbo. So Dodd's kick to centre wing. Crowley did well. He kept his eyes on. Now gets away from Maloney. Interesting shepherd there from Shammers. He ran across in front. And then Crowley's centering ball. Bell made the contest. Sandilands to Palmer. And then Palmer out in front of Farmer. Missed by Garland and Farmer. And then Pavlich couldn't quite get onto it. And Garland did well to Green, who kicked the opening goal for Melbourne today. Oh, good effort by McFarlane on the back of Bate. And then White to try and run him down. McFarlane, a bit too easy in the end, comes back to Dodd. And heard the umpire say play on, and then McFarlane squares it again, and they can reload here.
Drum lays it off. Awkward looking kick from Palmer across the ground, taken by Mundy. Will he go back to the middle? Plenty of Fremantle players in that vicinity. Shammer's got it. In two minds though, Shammer. Good pressure from Davey. Ibbotson back to Shammer. It needs a kick, and he obliges to Johnson. Switches it over the top to Crowley. Crowley, very good last week and the week before. Drives it long inside the forward 50. Oh, good mark at the back. Carroll off balance. Just lunging back and took it cleanly to Wheatley. Just under 6 minutes remaining till halftime now. Wheatley around the outer side. Maloney with Bate on. Sounds like a fisherman. Yeah, I get you. Here's Bate. Just forward to the wing. Oh, run down by Sandilands. The ultimate indignity.
Aaron Sandilands.
Well, Buck got caught then, didn't
He was run down like Perth Airport.
They're doing something about that, aren't they, Dan?
Oh.
Here's Tarrant. He's kicked 3 so far in the match. Clever kick. And Mundy takes the mark. And poor old Bate, I mean, he dropped the mark, and that's what put him in.
But they were away then too, Melbourne. I mean, they had plenty of space to operate in out there. He just had no feel for what was around him.
And Tarrant constructive again on the forward line. He's played very well today. Probably a good day to be coming back and needing to show your stripes, isn't it? Because he'll have a few mates that'll play well today.
Yeah. Might burn that piece of the footage, though, I think, Bruce. Wouldn't show it to the grandkids.
No. Mundy. 40 metres out, straight in front, good kick, and they get their 11th goal, the Dockers.
We've talked a lot this afternoon about how bad the Demons are, but let's just concentrate on Fremantle, because that performance last Friday night was an excellent performance against the best side in the competition. They don't deserve to be where they are on the ladder. Their talent would suggest that they're a better side than that. They win today, they're 2-5. Not the result they would have liked at the beginning of the season, but they've had a pretty hard run in the early part of this year, and their performances haven't actually been that bad.
So the margin is 50 points now. One of their better young players, David Mundy. So versatile. Sandilands on the way down, flicked it. Stolen though by J. Mark taken by McFarlane. Robertson back on the ground. That's good news. McFarlane. Johnson. He's at left half back. Kicks beyond the wing. Coming up to get it, Tarrant.
Thank you.
So Tarrant, little short pass to Solomon, like the Cracker brothers. Solomon just pops it to space, and Murphy comes up and takes the mark. So Murphy would be about 35, 40 metres from goal. Should get the distance. Has gone back a long way.
That's being in sync with your teammates, a kick like that, isn't it?
Yep. The understanding between Tarrant and Solomon has been good. They've had a couple of little interchanges. Murphy hangs it right. It's not coming back. Minor score.
Run around now.
We talk about Solomon. He's had 11 touches this afternoon. None of them have been easy touches too. He wins the ball in hard spots, but he's taken the ball inside 50 on 6 occasions too. So he's doing his work up the ground.
He was terrific last week, wasn't he, in that first half? It's a good mark by Jones. I mean, he kicked 4 last week against Brisbane. Jones. That kick to a contest, and ball in. Maloney against the odds.
He's had a quiet afternoon, Maloney, just 4 touches.
Focus on the footy.
So Melbourne, have a look at that. This is round 7, and they haven't outscored the opposition in any of the first 3 quarters in any of those games, and they won't be in the opening 2 again today. Johnson's little toe poke was clever enough. Melbourne with a chance here. Robertson couldn't quite take it. It was a hard ball from McDonald, but he got it free.
First one, Russ. Goes well. Thanks, Russell. Russell's right on 50 it is.
Fair decision. Well, this is a long kick for Robbo. Kicked over 70 goals back in 05. He's been the LGK on a number of occasions, and that one he's hung it out. He got the distance, but never a chance. So he's struggling a bit, isn't he? And he's in a team that's really struggling.
You now.
Here's Gilmore running away, as is his want. He's trying to get the ball all the way down to Tarrant, and he's managed it.
Tarrant, left half forward, kicks to the 50. From behind, getting it on the ground was Warnock. Rivers follows up. Little looping hand pass. Wheatley, Carroll around the outer side. Morton has been quiet. Back to Wheatley. Confronted Wheatley. He's a long kick and probably needed to. Morton back to Wheatley. Crowd want him to kick. He does play request. He goes long down towards right half forward. Coming through his green. Got the staggers. Hand passes forward. Good things happen when you go long. Wanamiri though fell over. Feeds it back. Bate still can't pick it up. Well, he's trying to over the football font, and he threw it.
How quick was Wanamiri a moment ago? Actually contested the ball in the air, and then he was the first player back to be running back into the space to create some. Definitely a throw there.
With so many clubs, Tim, playing the same style of football, playing follow the leader, it wouldn't hurt for one club, and Fremantle did this when they first came into the competition, to break the mould.
And play a completely different brand of football.
Those long kicks are really causing Fremantle some concern at the back. Here's McDonald. Jaron Neesham, the man who brought in some revolutionary thinking when he was short on players, and McDonald is missed. That hurts.
I think when you get to a certain part on the ground, that's what the players should be instructed to do. Particularly if you take a quick look and you see that you're facing a 4-on-4. It's different if the numbers are set behind the ball and it's been a slow delivery. But when you move the ball quickly from one end of the ground to the other, take your chance.
Yep, O'Brien's kick out wide, a good one to Gilmore. So Gilmore coming in for Headland. So Headland the last couple of weeks has been a late withdrawal. He's had some knee problems. Gilmore's kicked to half forward. Warnock, his brother, didn't make the team for the Dockers today, and then McDonald, who missed the goal a moment ago, with Shammer ball in. Well, we saw a pretty depressing first half from West Coast on Friday night, and we've seen one from the Demons today. There's a bit promised today, and not delivered so far. No, the Dockers have been good. Free kick, I think, coming back to McManus.
Is Ricky talking to Dean Bailey at half-time?
That's the plan. John Westfold on Friday night, and Dean Bailey, poor Rick. But well done to John for doing that. Johnson's kicked a full forward, Murphy, and then Rivers coming across, belting it through. So a lacklustre first half from the Demons and a very good one from the Dockers. And the scoreboard does tell the tale.
As we start this second half, a beautiful bounce. Well, the ruckman up, made contact, and then it fell at their feet. Davey had his kick smothered. Sandlin's over the football. So ball upcoming. Chief possession winners on the ground so far. Reece Palmer with 13 leads the way for the Dockers. McLean with 13. Brock McLean leads the way for Melbourne. Here he is again. Almost led all comers for a moment, but realising he was about to lose the mantle, it was snatched off him by Reece Palmer.
Thanks, boys.
Cameron Bruce is up there too. He's got 13. So there's a bounce alongside the centre circles. Jamar missed by Palmer. Bertram, his hand pass went only as far as Mundy, who's got it now from Bell. Goes with the outside of the boot inside the forward 50. Johnson within Bell. Melbourne's Bell. Got a fist on it. Coming through beautifully and finishing. No. To the left, Solomon misses. A little haphazard with the kick.
Two Fremantle players actually reacted before any of the Melbourne players then. Terrific bit of play there.
You did that once at Waverley, a bit more spectacularly.
Yeah, I would hope so.
He's been good, Solomon. Not as good as you, Tim, but he's been good. Here's Bate, who hasn't been good, but he's been, as we said, coming back for the first time today. And that's a good mark. Miller took 6 marks in the opening half. He showed a bit.
No.
Kick to the wrong spot. And now maybe a chance for McLean, but couldn't get a handle on it.
He's just looked off today, McLean. He's had 13 touches, but he just hasn't looked sharp. That's a great mark there by Miller, though. If they can get the ball there often enough, they've got a winner across half forward in him.
Sandilands and Jamar. Sandilands pretty easily down towards Ibbotson, who was held on to. Did well, Ibbotson, but then Green got it back to Wheatley. Wheatley to Robertson, back to Wheatley, and then Wheatley gets reasonable purchase and not accurate though. No, behind. It will be fascinating to see how this second half unfolds. To Fremantle, do they have the killer instinct to really burn Melbourne off, and do the Demons have the heart to really make some sort of a run? We're about to find out. Pavlich gets it from Solomon.
And drives it down towards half forward. Hangs a long time in the air. Intended for Tarrant. Farmer at the back. Hurriedly onto the boot. It bounces out of bounds in the pocket. Strange to relate, Melbourne look most dangerous in their forward line.
They do, but they just can't get it there.
It's most unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, once they get it there, they actually look like they're capable of scoring, at least making some space.
If they can get it there quickly, it's even better. But at the moment, of course, Fremantle, workmanlike, not brilliant, but they're doing well enough and good for the confidence as McLean brings it out. Missed by Bartram. Taken by Davey. Sweeping hand pass. Green back intended for Bartram. He's in trouble now. Got it back to Green. Green's hand pass when a kick would have been better advised. Keeping it in front was Wheatley. Cleared a path for Green. Well done by Wheatley. Well done by Green. Here's Bruce, 60 metres out. Kicks for goal. This will run on and miss.
I didn't mind him doing that. I mean, Robbo's looked back at him and saying, well, what about me? I made some space then, but he was inside 50. He had plenty of time to steady and finish it off.
Did he say that or sing it? What about me? Robbo. McFarlane short.
I'll get back to you.
Here's Bell. Gee, we've asked him some hard questions today, haven't we?
Well, he lip reads. He said he did.
Play on!
So Bell decides to go safely to McFarlane. Good swing man, McFarlane. He can play at either end. Now Dodd wide, very, very wide. Tarrant coming up and a boundary throw in.
I think Mark Harvey would have said to his players at half-time, most of you will have next weekend off. There's no games. Don't leave anything in the tank. You can deplete yourself. We need a big win. And they need some percentage boosting too.
All of that. Now I think Palmer's going to get the free kick for a block.
Play on.
And Palmer away. Gee, he's impressive, isn't he? Taken 7th in the draft last year, and he's made an instant impression. It's an awkward-looking kicking style, and he's on the right. Solomon couldn't quite, and then Wheatley had it and left it, but Garland did well. Wanamiri, who's been pretty good, kicks the ball to centre wing, and Miller's hands have been terrific. Now Davey goes to... No, he doesn't go to Robertson. He was going to, and then kicks the ball to centre half forward, and it just gets to Green. Dare I say it? Dennis, it was.
Centimetre perfect, Bruce.
He started his second half well, Green. He just caressed this ball, Davey, and it just cleared Mundy's outstretched hand.
Well, this is what Green does really well. He's a beautiful kick. Kicked 4 goals in 1 game this year. He's kicked 35 goals in a season. They need it. They need about 5 after it. His kick is a good one, and it's got the distance, and they get the first goal after half-time.
And that's important because they need to start this second half well. They needed to up the ante and show a little bit more intensity in their play. They're actually able to win. This is Palmer. This is the poor kick on his non-preferred side, which is his right foot. He actually took one too many bounces and put most of the forwards out of position. But that was another contest by Miller and Davey at ground level, and they're just finding their targets inside their attacking 50. In fact, they've been able to match Fremantle this afternoon in that area.
And that goal by Brad Green broke a string of 7 consecutive points for the D's. In the same time, Fremantle have kicked 1-4, so goals have been scarce. And the margin is 43, Fremantle's way. Again, when they were grounded, Sandilands got it. McLean has it. There's a whistle off the ball.
Free kick, Bell. Crowley's free kick. Kick for a hole. Free kick against Nathan Jones.
The umpire sorting it out. Peter Bell scuttles away, goes down towards half forward, almost to Pavlich, spilt it. Mundy's over the football. Wheatley did well, finessing, went back, sliding in Ibbotson. Opportunity there for Johnson falling to the ground. Bell extricated himself from a tight situation. Beautiful hand pass, Sandilands. And now O'Brien storming into space. And he's hung it out to the left to behind.
That's fine there, Chris.
So Sandilands there and Jamo both going early, and then the Crowley free kick there.
Holding onto his jumper.
So Garland wide, Bruce the target, good mark. The 232s together. One does match the age and the other might match the disposals at the end. He's been pretty good, Bruce. McLean wide to Bate. Nothing coming easy for him today. McDonald to White to McDonald. Wasn't a good handball by White. It was behind McDonald. He had to wait. And then McLean. It's all slow motion, isn't it? And then Bate run down. And then McDonald. This is scrubby footy, boys. You asked for it. You're getting scrubby. Miller gets it from Robbo for the second time today. Robbo passes to Miller and they get a goal. That was a scrubby goal.
That's as scrubby as you could possibly make a goal, but in the end it was effective. The tackling was good from Fremantle. They were just able to get themselves free, and they kept pushing the ball forward. In the end, something eventuated, but they got the ball there quickly inside 50, and then Robbo just finished it off by handballing it to Miller, who's been probably one of their better players this afternoon. It's just effort. If you look at their midfield, they can match Freo's midfield.
First time today, the D's have managed back-to-back goals. Good pressure initially from Fremantle, but Melbourne had the numbers and they broke it. Back to 38 points. White and Sandilands. Clean possession to the Giant. Swings it out very wide. Hangs a long time, as you saw. Took a while to come down. Shammer, busy. Bate beat him though. Bartram went looking for Bate. Chopped off by his teammate Bell. White. Now Morton. Bit of spring in the step of Melbourne. At least for the moment. Peter Bell. Wanamiri slaps it out to a voice. Bruce overran it. Charging in O'Brien. Miller's been very good. That's a shining light today. Comes back here to McDonald, who goes again to Miller. Miller forward of the wing. Morton is loose inside the forward 50. He's taken the mark. Again, it's one out in the forward line. Robbo wants it angled deep. Robbo should mark this. Oh, Robbo should have marked it. Slung. It went about 5 metres. Ibbotson was taken high. Well, Russell Robertson has been a hero for so long in this Melbourne team. May have been partly obscured. That's the best I can do for Robbo there.
You're being kind.
I know that, but I like Robbo.
We all like Robbo. Just dropped a sitter.
Ibbotson to Mundy. To Foster, back to Mundy. And then to Gilmore, who did well. He was able to create some space for himself, and then a long ball deep inside 50. Garland's run to White. And Melbourne just with a little sniff here. Now they've got players everywhere. Bate and McLean together. Well, Bate goes back to McLean. Decides not to. He keeps going. Kicks okay in the end. This is Robbo, a lot further out than he was a moment ago.
You're right, Bruce. This game's changed. We're seeing 3 players for Melbourne for the first time this afternoon.
Gee, wouldn't you love him to kick a goal here? I know that sounds so obvious, but A for him and B for the match, it would be 3 in a row. He's good enough. He's good enough, all right.
Oh.
Well, for one of the few times this afternoon when the ball broke at half back, it was Melbourne that was running to space. Now, we hardly saw that at all in the first half. They had 2 options out wide when they actually won the ball in the defensive part of the game, at the ground. And that's a good finish by Bate inside 50 again. Robbo just leading up. That's the correct target. Lowered his eyes. But this was just a wonderful finish by Robbo.
Great goal. And certainly on top with the disposals in this term. Melbourne getting a lot of the football, and what it is running football, something Fremantle had in the first half. Sandlands directs it down. McLean's got it this time. Falling over though was McDonald. Down goes Shammer in the midst of a couple of Ds. We'll have a bounce.
Coming into this game, I thought one advantage that they might have would be their midfield, Melbourne. I thought they'd be able to match Fremantle, maybe even shade them, and in the early part of the second half, that's exactly where they're getting on top.
Sandlands and White fight a draw this time. Off the ball there's a whistle, and a free kick is going Melbourne's way. Davey was being held. Now they fan out. Comes to White. White goes down towards half forward, and Maloney's got it a long way from home. Little chip pass, awkward half volley. Miller ran into Shammer, put the head down, battles after it. Well, a reward for courage there. Miller put the head down. Shammer inadvertently took him high. He was after the footy too. Now Miller short, McLean, and on the lead Robbo. He's feeling it.
They've stopped working, the Dockers. They're just not working hard enough for the moment. Mark Harvey a little bit worried too. Put an extra player behind the ball. Pavlich pushed himself up onto the ball. There's the free kick. Shammer just going head first onto that, and here's Robbo just getting free of McFarlane.
Just flirting with the idea of a pass. Now he decides it takes one. He was the one, but he's missed across the face of behind.
It's a 5-goal game. After the Dockers led by 50 at half-time. They did lead by 39 last week, Tim. They had a couple of big leads. That was flirting with it. Admittedly, they were in Group 1 company last week, and today they're not playing the top team in the competition. Drums kick out wide.
How would you describe the opposition, Bruce?
Michael Johnson. I'm going to think about that.
A maiden of Maui.
Yeah. Well, they're a maiden this year, Dennis.
Right.
In fact, if they lose today, they'll be 0-7 for the second time in consecutive years, and that's never happened to them before, or to anyone else for 40 years.
That's a real win to Melbourne too. They're actually able to slow Fremantle on the kick in, hold them up all the way down the ground, and then get the opportunity now of winning the ball back.
So maybe a maiden at Manangatang.
Tossed in. Sandlands and White. White with a backhander. McLean's over the footy. So an interesting stage in this game. I mean, time not a problem. A long way to go. 10.5 minutes to three-quarter time.
As Pavlich who's pushed himself up onto the ball.
So easy for a side like Freo, who dominate a first half, to go in and feel content about it all and come out a little bit soft. They need to be careful. They're dancing in a dangerous ballroom at the moment. McDonald gave it to Maloney. Maloney on the bounce to Green. Davey finds a way through and kicks a goal.
And how direct was that? They won the ball again from a stoppage. They stayed in the central part of the ground. They moved the ball quickly into their forward line. And that's where they're going to be damaging. I mean, Green got the ball first and then over to Davey. Davey and Wanamira, very quick players, dangerous at ground level, but you've just got to get the ball there quickly with some space to operate in. They're right back in this game now, Melbourne.
Look at those inside 50s. They've halved the margin. It was 50 at half-time, 25. You said a second ago they're right back in this game. Do you actually believe they can win from here? They've got any chance at all?
Absolutely.
J-Mar went early against Gilmore.
More importantly, Bruce, I think they're actually starting to believe they're in the game and they can win too.
Well, in the last 3 weeks, they've actually outscored the opposition in the final quarter, but the matches have been over. They may put themselves into a winning position at three-quarter time for the first time this year if they can get within 2 or 3 goals. And they're closing on that at the moment. They're within 4 and a bit. So the Dockers have got to up the ante now.
Oh, no.
Now, this is a great challenge because
he's trying to get the footy.
the momentum of the game has actually shifted. So Melbourne have got the momentum now.
Give me room at the back.
The Dockers have to win back the momentum, and it's around these stoppages.
J-Mar a bit stiff there. Pavlich, a quick kick forward. Solomon, well done by Frawley. Running hard, Murphy, and now Farmer swoops on it. He's got Solomon out wide. Still unsure, goes back to Murphy. I think he was wanting the 1-2. Didn't quite get it. Foster, terrific stuff coming from Davey. And then Edmondson's kick was a good one, touched on the line though. Warnock back there with Rivers. They've played that together a couple of times today, the 27 and 37, and the Dockers get the behind. So Melbourne suddenly out of their slumber, aren't they? They're alive and, well, I won't say they're well, but they're certainly pressing.
To himself, Wheatley runs it up, spears a pass to the 50, and Maloney, just more energy now, more verve about them. Maloney to Wheatley, who sprinted up the ground, needs a Shepherd, almost got one. Was he taken high? Not according to the umpire. Matters not. Green's got it now. Green in from the side, the leap there from Palmer. It was intended for Bruce. Knocked up in the air by Johnson. Haven't seen a lot of him. It's Michael Johnson. Ibbotson, seen a fair bit of him and Palmer. Now Johnson to Johnson. In midfield, this is McManus. McManus sends a long kick, and that's a very good one. Tarrant could have been held. No, free. Pushed across the line by a man lunging forward down there. That was Warnock. Behind. Let's go down to Ricky.
Injury concern for Fremantle. Luke McFarlane just limped off the ground. He caught a knock just to his lower back and hip area. He's just getting work done on that at the moment. They've had to move him off Robbo. They've had to put Stephen Dodd to him.
And Robbo's looked lively, Rick, in this turn. That's a very poor kick, and McManus gets onto it and then goes back to the top of the square. Should have taken the mark. McDonald, almost a score assist here to Murphy. Hooks back. That poster, eh?
He was let out of jail there.
Should have taken the mark, McDonald.
That was such an attacking punch, though, too. Not just the fact that he punched it, but where he punched it too, just square of where he was.
So decision-making, Tim's going to be really interesting here for Melbourne. I mean, it's been one of many problems they've had this year. Let's see how well they go now with some pressure on in the game.
That was a bad decision too, kicking to 1-on-2, and they lost it. And the ball comes in and marked by this man Murphy, who has a chance to redeem himself.
That's the key, though. Decision making's easy when you don't have any pressure on you. Now, if Fremantle actually come back with some real pressure, we'll see whether or not Melbourne have improved or not from their first half.
Well, Melbourne broke a string of 7 behinds with a goal. Fremantle a chance to do likewise here. Murphy, pretty sharp angle. We're right behind him, and he's missed comprehensively. Never on line. 7.5 minutes out from three-quarter time, and Fremantle have responded to the challenge now, suddenly finding more of the football. And they're shuffling them through full back at the moment, Melbourne. This is about the 4th player from the last 4 behinds to kick it in. It's Green. Good mark, Warnock. Strong mark. Bate offers a lead. Morton coming on the angle, not required. Bate, and that could well be 50. Non-thinking footy there by Drum. He was beaten. And he kept coming. So back on the 50. Bates got the footy. And Melbourne going to where they're most dangerous. McLean offers a lead. Going back is Robertson. Bate, well, he puts it very close to that goal line again. And the point is not what they need. They need a contest about 15 metres out. Get Crummers all around it. Spread the defence.
That's just a long point in the end, isn't it? When a kick goes that deep to a pack.
Yep.
You're quite right. Just kick it to the top of the square. 10 metres out from the top of the square. That's the dangerous kick. You've got Wanamira and Davey at ground level.
So Dodd gets it out inside the attacking 50 for the Demons, and Robertson, it's a bit high, but now he's gone, I think, for throwing it. Incorrect disposal.
Yep. No, you go through. Yep.
So Shammer had a tough year last year, Shammer, with the appendix and then the bowel problems he had, so only played the 7 games.
That's too loose.
Yep. Foster, Crowley. Actually, Crowley's done a wonderful job on Jones. Jones just 4 disposals, Tim, halfway through this, or getting towards the end of three-quarter time.
Well, Crowley was good on Abbott last week too.
And Thompson the week before.
He sticks to a task well.
Watch the ball.
So Jamar and Gilmore. So Sandilands getting a rest again. Foster tried to barge through. McLean got hold of him.
Straight up. Stand up now.
So a 4-goal-0 quarter for the Demons as they've
Don't hold off the footy.
worked their way back into this match.
Gilmore and Jamar lock up. The ruckman touched the ball. Bartram got the arms free, then was dragged down when he got the footy. Another ball
It's not
up.
going to go anywhere.
And the players realise now that the next goal, if Melbourne get it, throws this game wide open. Fremantle have missed some chances in the last few minutes. Ibbotson got very high, thumped it down. Palmer, who's been terrific, taken down by Bell.
Held to him. You've got your hand on it. Giving you the chance to get it out.
At the moment, Melbourne have got a free play across half back. The Dockers haven't got a player across half back. They've actually got another player, an extra player at this stoppage.
Arms around him.
Free kick to Melbourne, is it?
Mark Jamar. Hands around him.
So that negates the extra
Sean, 2
player.
metres, Sean.
But that's dicing with death, particularly the way Fremantle have used the ball in the midfield. McLean, Maloney lays it off. Now Bell up the ground. Warnock, Bell, Davey, 70 metres out from goal.
Bell's first kick should have gone inside their attacking 50.
Takes the man on, steps around O'Brien. Robertson headed back for the square. Davey runs to the 50, sells a dummy. Bit of magic. This will bring the roof down, and it's not the dome.
And what was he thinking, Tim? Whatever it was very clever.
He's just going to run himself into trouble here. He solved the dummy. Now he's on 50. He knows he's within scoring range, and he finished it off beautifully. And the celebration. And players came from all parts of the ground to celebrate with him too.
A bizarre build-up. Wonderful goal, Ricky.
Well, Fremantle know that the momentum is swinging against them. They just made 4 changes at that goal. They brought some big guns on. Sandiland, Pavlich and McFarlane all back on.
Hardnuts in the middle. McManus is in there. Pavlich is in there too.
Well, they need to make a statement here. McLean, who's becoming influential. He had a lot of the footy in the first half, but nothing was happening. But it is now. McDonald getting his hands on it. Wheatley. Maloney. One bounce. Now, he kicked the ball very badly in the first half. He needs to kick this well. He's kicked it to the top of the goal square. Robertson again too close to goal, maybe. It was a sort of nothing kick, wasn't it? It was not one thing or the other.
But they're getting the spread, aren't they? They're actually winning the stoppages now and then getting that spread out on the wings, and they've been able to find some space.
To throw against the Dockers.
Just go to him. Go on. Daniel
Has in
Bell.
this turn quickly. Daniel Bell towards the middle, and White has to wait. Drop the mark. Fremantle close in. Garland has it now. Garland, the short one. And this has been a real plus for Melbourne. He's been out of form for a long time, this man. But Miller, the boy from Brisbane, has been terrific. 8 marks now.
There's the throw. I was watching the Dockers play, then they died. Just trailed Miller. Nobody wanted to pick him up. Not enough urgency in their play. They actually need to just work their way back into this game, Fremantle. The momentum is clearly with Melbourne. There's only one way to do it, and that is to get into the trenches.
Distance won't be a problem. He's a long kick. Is he an accurate kick? He's off to the right. Well, it fell about a metre short as it turned out, but helped on its way. Another behind. Margin back to 20 points. Miller's booted 2 this afternoon.
They did lead by as much as 51, the Dockers.
They've slowed Freo at the kick-ins as well. It's so symptomatic of how a side's going in modern-day footballs, and if they struggle to kick the ball in, it's pressure that's being applied from elsewhere.
And now a bit of indecision. Ibbotson the target. In the early stages of what looks to be a really big career coming up for Ibbotson. And that's a dangerous kick. Robbo now, he's 55 out, leans back, kicks it long and misses.
And Davey is signalling to him that the ball should have gone to the top of the square to him. It snuck in behind the Freo defence.
Melbourne has kicked 5 goals, 7 to 6 behind in this term. That's a terrific mark by Solomon.
He's been good for most of the day, Dean Solomon. Across the ground he comes, pinpoint accuracy to his former Bomber teammate Mark Johnson. He lays it off to Johnson, his namesake, kicks towards the 50. Bell got a fist on it. Melbourne in number at the back of the pack. The extra number helps out too. Over the top, McLean got it to Wheatley, to Bell, too long, inadvertently struck his foot, rolled about 10 metres. Johnson to Solomon. Solomon just outside the 50, and Pavlich. Okay. This is a very important kick. Matthew Pavlich will kick from about 35 metres out, slight angle. Some hard work from Solomon on the outer side, making it happen. Pavlich back on the ground recently. He's kicked a couple today, another poster. Keeps racking up those posters, as we said earlier, the poster boy for posters. Most in the competition. And what's he done here? He's kicked a goal. Good one for Freo, that.
They really needed a goal then, Fremantle. And it was good play here by McManus. There's the tackle. They just overpossessed the ball again, Melbourne on the way out. They had the right option, and Solomon just stepped up to the mark, got the handball and hit the right target. And then the skipper just finished it off for them. It's been a great challenge for Fremantle, though, to lose the momentum like this and then have to win it back.
3 goals, 3 for the captain today. He kicked 3 behinds before his first, so he's got 20 for the season. Just 2 goals for the Dockers in the last 43 minutes. But that was a handy one. It gives them a bit of breathing space, and they might get another. Pavlich was terrific as Solomon got it to him again, and then he loads it up. It's half a chance. Oh, it's gone all the way. It's a goal.
That was a massive kick, but that worked by Solomon again. In at the stoppage, he won the ball and then fed the handball to Pavlich, as we'll see here in the replay. It's just a small handball. That's just power then from Pavlich to be able to push off McDonald like he did. He's in the square when he actually kicked that ball. It sails through by just the metre to out, just past the outstretched arm. And that's how you win back the momentum. You win the ball in at the centre bounce, and then you finish off like Fremantle have. And it's their star player that's been able to kick the last 2 goals.
13-16 to 8-15, and Pavlich putting his stamp on this game, and again putting his stamp on Cameron Bruce. So what a body moving around in there, and Pavlich has won the free kick. Back-to-back goals with successive kicks, unlike Adelaide last week. He did it the hard way. Alongside the centre circles, goes looking for Farmer. Good grab by Garland, who flirted with the idea of going on. Stops. On the defensive 50, it's White. Clock running down. Late goal to Melbourne would be what the doctor would order. If Fremantle get it, you would think that Melbourne would go in deflated. And Green just chips it around the boundary to Morton. Are they building for one final thrust? We're about to find out. Morton goes for distance to half forward. In from the side. Big leap down there by Carroll, of all people. Trying to get through O'Brien. Met solidly by Miller. And we've got a bounce. Clock stops at 52.
It's great play from the skipper, isn't it, Pavlich, to go and kick those 2 goals at this critical stage of the 3rd quarter.
O'Brien's coming off under the blood rule. Just watch that clock. Strange things happen in these circumstances. In fact, it's Cameron Bruce who's coming off. Clock hasn't moved, has it, Bruce?
No. Got my eye on it, Dan.
I just wonder with Pavlich too whether or not, similar to James Hird at Essendon, where he would just go and put himself on the ball. I don't know whether that move's actually made by the coaching staff or he just senses the urgency in the game. But once they kicked a few goals, Melbourne, he just pushed himself up onto the ball. Now he's pushed himself behind the ball, playing three-man inside.
White and Sandilands. Sandilands clears it. Wide of the congestion. That's a throw against Green, is it? An open hand, perhaps.
Dean Solomon's kick.
Dean Solomon in the last few minutes has been outstanding. One of their best recruits. And was very much chucked into the deal. Almost the teaser stallion for Chris Tarrant. Driven by Pavlich towards the outer side wing. And it's pushed across the line by Mundy. Clock stops at 25. We go on about the clock, but gee, it's been in the news. I would suggest, Bruce, required viewing for every timekeeper. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Keanu Reeves.
You better write to them, Dennis.
I will.
Palmer draws a man now to Shammer. Pavlich, could he kick a third goal late in this quarter? Not quite. So 4 goals for to Pavlich.
His last 5 minutes has been enormous.
It's what you'd expect from the champ, isn't it?
Started in the defensive 50, then just worked his way through or forward with the ball.
So Melbourne have got it back from 50 to 32. Just don't feel like they've done enough. They did a whole lot of work and then Pav stepped up.
Well, Harvey, look, the look on his face probably said it all. He wouldn't have been happy with the quarter of football, but I think he would have been happy and pleased with the way they actually won the momentum back before three-quarter time.
So we've still got a contest. Melbourne need a fast start. They trail by 32 at three-quarter time. This is Sunday football.
Final turn, that kick by Pavlich, 75-80 metres on the fly. It crossed the goal line on the full. Sandilands knocks it down. Melbourne needs some early scores. Jamar went to ground, and that ball's not coming out.
Thanks, guys.
And it can lead to confusion too for Melbourne when Pavlich goes into the centre bounces like that, because they've got to try and find their man after that. They're not sure if he's going to float forward again and players are forward, or he's going to stay on the ball.
Almost got it that time. Maloney off the ground while being held. Downwards half forward. Wanamiri thrown by O'Brien, who tracks it back inside his defensive 50. Looks across the ground, untidy kick. Sandilands did pretty well. Had it got by, it might have been a Melbourne ball. He goes again. Trying to get through is Thornton, tied up by Jamar. Umpire lets them play for a while. And now a bounce. 60 metres out from Melbourne's attacking goal, just inside the centre square. Jamar and Sandilands. Sandilands, good use of the body. Falls to Bruce, though. Around the corner, Wanamiri lets it run on inadvertently. He was going to get the bounce, but couldn't. And the ball now taken across the line after a fumble from Robbo, who is not happy.
And once again, Fremantle are playing with an extra player actually on the ball. Melbourne have elected to leave a spare player across half-back.
Jamar and Sandilands. Sandilands wins the tap. Pavlich. Gee.
That was hot.
Wow. That's not a disposal. Here.
So incorrect disposal, the decision.
Thank you.
And Cameron Bruce with a chance to do something that Matthew Pavlich did very successfully in that third quarter, and that's to kick an important goal. So they're up in a good position.
Got it right.
Well, every shot for goal important for Melbourne in this last quarter. An early goal here, and they're still in this match. He's hooked it badly. It's a poor kick. Sandilands almost boundary throw in.
Hasn't been the dominant player today, Sandilands. They've worked him over pretty well, Melbourne. Jamar's been jumping into him, and then they've swapped him and brought White on, who's run him around the ground.
So Miller actually went against him, and then Maloney, good-looking kick, goal. That's the one they needed.
Well, once again, we see the Melbourne players actually roving to the ruck work here of Sandilands. Just watch this. He gets his hand almost to the ball, and that's just too much freedom. I mean, you've got to lock down on players in the forward line like that. Maloney just had so much room there to operate in.
Well, the coach gave him a spray at quarter time about his use of the ball. No debating that last one. I think if we could judge what Dean Bailey was saying, he'd wasted 3 kicks. Well, he just got 6 points. Melbourne get a kick. 26 points the difference. Brock McLean, early going, final term, goes to half forward. Bates got better the longer it's gone. He's provided a target. Davey comes hard. Wanamiri is lurking behind the pack, and Robertson is going to the square. Plenty of activity. Robbo will fly. Off hands. Wanamiri, get a boot to it, son.
How many times have we said this afternoon that they've kicked the ball too deep when they've gone into their forward line? Here's the free kick. Here's a free kick going in too early there off the centre square. That's where the free kick occurred. Robbo just got there, actually didn't even influence the contest, made a contest, and then they get the crumb and they can kick a goal. But the difference with that kick was that it was at the top of the square. It was about 10 metres at the top of the square.
Austin Wanamiri, the 19-year-old, who's been a big hit in a handful of games for the Melbourne. Great reaction.
You gotta love that, don't you?
Sure do.
That is just unbridled joy.
Yep, a lot of passion for footy, eh? 20-point margin, so Melbourne doing just what they needed to do. They've cancelled the Pavlich goals out, and they're back in it. And Dennis, you were spot on about Bate. He has got a lot better as it's gone on. McLean was terrific to Bruce. Morton away, good kick. Well, this is the biggest kick of the match about to happen right now.
How critical have the clearances become in this game since about midway through the third quarter?
And Bate and McLean since half-time. I know McLean had a lot of it early. He's had less. I think he had 13 in the first half. He's had 10 in this half, but he's actually had an influence in this half.
Just in this quarter, 6-0 the clearances.
Most important kick of the match, Tim, this. He's had a terrific day, Miller. A big day.
I reckon it might be time for Fremantle. That player that they've actually been using at the stoppages is having no impact on this game whatsoever. If Melbourne are going to put a player behind the ball across half back as that free play, it's probably time for them to shift a player free behind the ball as well, just to slow this game down. They've got to win the momentum back again.
He's been good, Miller, hasn't he?
He's been terrific.
$14 points the margin, the closest they've been since the 21-minute mark of the opening. What about those disposals in this term? Fremantle can't find the footy. Away we go. The Rucks push off each other. Sandilands worth a kick down towards half forward. Guess who? Solomon. That's holding it. Well, he worked hard to get there. No one really came to help. Wheatley's got it at centre half back. Crowd can send it now. Long to the outer side. Once more pushing up the ground. Bate. He keeps going. So does this youngster. Man running past inside as well. Davey could have given it over the top. Decides to kick it towards the middle. Wrong decision. And getting back, Palmer takes the mark.
He flirted with his skills then, Davey. He should have done the percentage thing. Maloney had run to space. It was just a simple handball over the top. They would have retained possession.
And it was so slow developing. All the forwards knew what was happening. Maloney was going to get it, and they were headed back towards the square. But give credit to Palmer. Worked back hard. Around the outer side, 2 veterans combined. Bell to Johnson. Inside the forward 50. And a terrific grab taken by Palmer.
You take your kick, Jeff?
Now, this flies in the face of what we saw at the end of the tie. I hate to sort of go on about this, but the umpire has whistled time on. Then he asked the player, can you take your kick? So time is running now. The advantage the umpire has here is he can call him to play on after 30. And Farmer is taking plenty of the 30, lining up. But then again, he needs to, because this, in this game, represents a very important kick. Gets under it. It's out to the right. Big pack. And Melbourne do the right thing. White just pushes it across the line. Bruce, what price the draw?
Thanks, Nathan. Don't step on the
Shortening
mark.
by the second, Dennis, not the minute.
I'll never ask you again. You're starting to tire of the question.
Over there.
I pressed the wrong button, so ask me again later. Gee, they've been inaccurate since that one was rushed, but they've kicked 2 goals, 8 since half-time, the Dockers. Remember last Friday night, they had that big lead at three-quarter time.
Yeah.
Bates becoming an important player in this last quarter too.
Free kick to Miller.
Hand in the back against Michael Johnson.
At the moment, they've got 2 winners across half forward, Miller and Bate.
Bruce the target, and takes the mark. He's a workaholic, Bruce, isn't he? He just gets so much of the ball. Good kick onto White, who runs on now from 60. A high ball. Robbo will be the flyer. Didn't need to fly. Fell into his arms.
Well, it was really smart play there by White. To make the running and find the space, and then it was Sandilands who actually, his direct opponent, pushed back into the hole there, but he kicked the ball over his head and made him redundant.
Well, Robbo's kicked 1 today. He's had a couple of assists. He's got his second. Unbelievably, Melbourne close.
Well, I don't know about you two, but I'll be disappointed if we don't get a draw on a Sunday afternoon.
We've come to expect it, haven't we?
Gee, we're going to get a close one, I think.
I think
Just
so.
not Sunday afternoon without a draw. They're full of running now, Melbourne.
The difference from last Friday night when...
Just good body work there by Jared Rivers.
It was
He
terrific,
just
wasn't
shifted
it?
the pack, didn't he? Didn't use his arms, didn't use his hands. It was just a bit of a nudge. And Robbo, who reads those so well in the flight. Look at that inside 56-2 in this last quarter.
Hint of a smile, Chris Connolly against his old club. I tell you who is getting nervous, the timekeepers. One down by White, Solomon, Sandilands. Here come Freo, Sandilands, ill-directed. Garland needed to mark, created a problem. Farmer kicks a goal.
Hey, Luke.
And that's just a kid making an error. He had to take the mark. He actually had to put his hands up in the air. And somebody had to call him into that play. They had to give him the confidence to go for that ball. But once again, it was Solomon at the centre bounce here. Won the ball from the tap, and then they just pushed it forward. That ball had to be marked there by Garland. This is the reaction from Jeff Farmer. I think actually Wanamairi's got him covered. I don't know about you, Dennis or Bruce, but I still prefer Wanamairi's.
Yeah.
And a couple to Farmer today, so both at that end of the ground. So can Melbourne respond? They need the next one. I mean, that's obvious, but the Dockers get an important one back. Bate got it from Maloney, and Bate inside the 50. Robbo takes out beauty.
That was a beautiful kick then by Bate. That was perfectly positioned for Robbo. Here they are winning the ball again from the scrimmage. It was Maloney's quick little handball. This bloke's been better the longer the game's gone.
Well, so's Robbo. I mean, Bate to Robbo in the first half would have been a disaster. Can he kick a third? A second within a couple of minutes. It's coming back. He's got it. They're not going to go away.
Actually, for the first time this afternoon, it's a really good game of football. A really good game of football.
6 goals out of Miller and Robertson now. They're 2 big forwards, Melbourne.
Well, for the first time since half-time, they've actually had some flow in their play. They've been getting it there with regularity, and they've been getting it there quickly, so they've found some space to operate in the forwards.
He has a remarkable mark when he comes out full tilt. He reminds me of Jason Dunstall. I think he's the best I've seen, just coming flat chat and taking it in one grab. Sandilands has got other ideas though. Thumps it down towards half-foot. Is that in the back? I think so. McManus will get the 3.
Hang on a sec.
Now Fremantle. Need to settle here. Make something of this. McManus feeling the effects of being driven into the MCG turf. Kicks for distance. Long ball. Why not? Pavlich is down there. Opted out of the contest. Spills. Pavlich put the body in. Trying to wrestle it away from Bell. And he did successfully, but it doesn't come out. Have a ball up.
Here's McManus been tied up in the tackle. That's the dangerous one where the player has no arm free to actually cushion the fall.
So the Dockers in a challenging position with Sandilands. White did well just to stop him getting a boot to the ball. And Tim, we're thinking about Melbourne maybe having a win. Can you think of the fallout of Fremantle lose this match with the lead they had at 1 and 5 coming in?
There's a great scone there for McManus too after having his head driven into the ground.
So the stakes are high here. Massive for the Dockers. Bruce to McLean. And then McLean wide, running away from Miller. I think he's pretty happy to see it over the line. So, season on the line for the Dockers here, no question about that. I mean, Paul Hazelby spoke to you and Dennis at half-time. Whack, Chief Barton, that's not good. The advantage given to Ibbotson. He didn't get much in the end. He kicked a high left-footer and Pavlich in the front spot. It was Tarrant at the back who made the first leap. And Pavlich, who's been the star for the Dockers as this game has gone on.
And that was really great play then by Tarrant, because you'd expect that Warnock would have been able to come into that contest and affect the spoil, but he was held by Tarrant.
He hasn't had a disposal since half-time, Tarrant, but that was a good shield.
Warnock's been good on him.
This for a 5th goal. He kicked 5 last week in a losing effort against Geelong. He's got 5. It's been a big performance by the captain, maybe a match-winning performance.
He's a really strong body player, isn't he, Matthew Pavlich? The way he just leant on Carroll as the ball came in there, he got rid of him so easily. And he's the player they've gone to this afternoon when they've got themselves in a little bit of trouble and they've tried to shift the momentum. Here's a kick in here from Ibbotson. Goes to the top of the square. They've been prepared to do that. And he just leaned on Carroll. He just got rid of him so easily, just by 2 hands on his shoulder, pushed him out of the way. And then Carroll was hoping that Warnock came over the top. But it was Tarrant that blocked his path to the ball too.
The interchanges to date, Melbourne have made more than the Dockers, as you can see, and going over the weekend, that could just about lead the way. Collingwood right down yesterday on their interchanges. Matthew Pavlich is best against Melbourne, 6, round 4 last season. He's 5 right now in a virtuoso performance with a poster. Wide of the pack taken by Warnock. Slips it across to Davey. Melbourne with the lights on, attacking Bate to both sides of the ground. He's worked hard. I suppose it's almost to be expected. He makes that sort of fumble. He's a tired man back in the team today. Johnson comes away, goes down towards half forward. Solomon was there. Over the top was Rivers. Mark Johnson. He's at the base of all of that, with assistance coming from Tarrant for the Dockers.
Melbourne player grabbed hold of it.
Here's the explanation. There are the lights. 93 plays 108. Time enough. But the Demons at the present time down the wrong end, and Sandilands sends it deeper into attack. McManus almost. Bell in trouble. Strong tackle by Farmer. Bell wants the boundary.
Hasn't gone out of bounds, Jeff. Let him up. Don't go high, Jeff. No, Jeff.
What's the call?
Up we go, up we go. Don't go high, don't
It's going to be a bounce. It wasn't out of bounds.
What about that punch in from Sandilands to the free player, McManus, who was running onto it.
And again, Tim, a brilliant bit of work by Sandilands. Johnson unable to. Gets a second crack. McManus over the ball with a couple of Demons, including Bell, and again a ball up.
Just watch this smash here from Sandilands. Just bang. Cleared the stoppage. McManus was running onto it.
Another chance here now. Jamar to try and keep him out of it. He does. Pavlich working hard. They bring him down, the Demons. Maloney there, gang tackle, ball up.
He just wears blokes down, doesn't he, Sandilands? All day they're jumping. They get to the last quarter, they're tired. They just can't jump anymore. He doesn't have to. He just stands there and just swats the ball.
Gets another crack here. Over the top to Papachok. Clever. Well done to Farmer. And then Farmer hooks back to the goal square. And a behind.
What an advantage it is to know that your ruckman is going to win probably 75% of the taps late in a game like this. I mean, he's giving his players a ground level and armchair right again.
Margin 16 points. Wheatley, normally a long kick. This is no exception. Right up to the wing, loose at the back, a chance for Bate. Pursued by Johnson. Bate went to ground. He was a bit lucky. He was on the way down. Johnson clattered into him. Bate gets the free, but gee, we've liked his game.
Well, they've shifted Johnson on him. That's how worried they are about his form in the last quarter.
Robbo takes off towards the boundary. That will be ignored. Kick comes in towards the middle. Oh, almost. Crowley did brilliantly, then couldn't hang on. And we've got a bounce about 40 metres out from Melbourne's attacking goal.
That's frustration there from Jones. He's had 4 touches this afternoon. Crowley's done a magnificent job on him.
Oh dear. So, abuse. Crowley to the outer side. Leaping very high was Bartram. Got it on the ground. McLean couldn't keep it in. And you just got to bite your lip.
It's Jones. Just such a soft free kick to give away. He had 24 disposals against Brisbane last week and kicked 4 goals. So Crowley's done a mighty job on him. Melbourne keeping on, coming on though. McLean to centre half forward. Green, not quite. Robbo, good kick again. He's got another one, I think. He's kicked 3 in the last. 4 for the day. There's still a chance.
Well, he's a soloist. He doesn't need Kate Sobrano. He's going on his own at the moment. This was great play by Green, though. Actually, I don't know that he handballed that. It looked like he might have just flicked it over there to Robbo. But that is non-preferred side, his left foot. He was just able to slide it around the corner. And he's happy with his effort.
He was injured earlier today, too. Remember when we thought he was going to come back?
He does it all the time, Bruce. Just foxing.
So the margin is back to 10 points. The question might be, how did Green get rid of the footy? A little sleight of hand, hard to see for the umpire in there. And Robertson, a wonderful finish. Robertson at one end, Pavlich at the other. A lot to like in the second half of this one. Sandlin stumps it down. Sliding in down there was Maloney. Goes after it again. Got it out to Bruce. Melbourne attack. Once more it's Bate. Awkward bounce though. Johnson the first back. In trouble. Miss Bell. Sandlins has it at close quarters. Gave it to support. Well, eventually Thornton goes back to the man who gave it to him. That's Drum. They're working double time. Gilmore. Sandlin's low down. Hand pass of a tired man. Miller breaks a tackle. Wanamiri is on. Wanamiri's got it. And how about this? Melbourne, Wanamiri looked across the ground and saw Morton, no percentage in that, take a shot.
That was sensational play by Melbourne, in particular Miller, just to stay involved in that contest. Fremantle were desperate to get the ball away from there, but Melbourne just kept coming at them, and eventually they coughed it up.
Wanamiri, 40 metres out, has kicked a goal. Less than a goal of difference.
He's kicked 3 this afternoon. He's earned his keep. He's been terrific. I love his celebration as well. There's Shammer who's just come off the ground. They'll rest him up. They'll bring him back on again. They need some fresh legs out there. But this is the ball they just couldn't clear here. And Melbourne kept coming. This bloke's been terrific. He and Bate and then Robertson, who's joined in the party in this last quarter, has given them a lot of life in their forward half. Look at that. The boy from Melville Island.
So for the second week in a row, he kicks 3 goals in a match, but he's done it under the pressure of having a chance of winning. Within 4 points, a remarkable match here at the G. The Dockers lead by 51. Melbourne has never come back from such a margin to win a game, ever. No. And here they are within 4 points. And just said earlier, the fallout if the Dockers lose this match today will be heard for a long time out west. And Melbourne right now are probably favourite. They need to get their nose in front and they mightn't in a minute. Miller's been terrific, and so is McLean, who got it to him. Miller loads up. Where's Robbo?
Morton.
He's kicked another one, Wanamiri. He's got 4. This is a celebration. They're in front. Oh, how good is this? Oh, look at that smile.
Well, you just got to love it. As long as you're not a Fremantle supporter, you just got to love what you're seeing at the MCG this afternoon. Once they get the ball in the open, this bloke has been outstanding. They haven't been able to chop him off. He's provided the target. Here's the one-on-one contest, and Wanamiri just read it so beautifully. And his celebrations are as good as you will see in this game. And they've had nothing to cheer about, these fans, all year. And they are delirious at the moment. Dean needs to work on his happiness at the minute, but he knows there's still 7.5 minutes to go.
He's smiling inwardly. He's very happy. That pancreas is vibrating. Then goes White on Thornton. Bate again. What a game he's played. Slaps it out to McLean. McLean goes to half forward, stretching. Maloney. Maloney is 55 metres out. Kicks. Back in the square. Davey. Oh, gee whiz. Fremantle have got the staggers. Davey will line up from about 2 metres out. Well, what about this? Melbourne in the first half were like one of those nervous African dictators. They always took a different route home. Now they're going long to the square and they're kicking goals.
Disposals in this last quarter, 53 to Melbourne, just 24 to Fremantle. They can't get their hands on the ball. They're not winning the clearances. And then once Melbourne get it out in the open, they just look so much faster than Fremantle. Pavlich is going back into the centre bounce. Solomon's in there, they're hard nuts, and Bell, one of their better ball winners.
Well, Davies kicked 3, Wanamiri's kicked 4. Robbo's had 3 in this last quarter for 4. They're winning the stoppages. They've got a little cushion here late in this match. Dockers have got to kick at least 2. And remember, the Dockers gave up their biggest lead ever last week at 3/4 time to lose, and they had a bigger one today.
And Bruce, they've got a problem. Even if they win from here, Melbourne now have 2 extra players behind the ball.
So the clock could become important. White's kick out wide. Where's the pace here? It's with O'Brien. To Bell. Well, the transformation's just remarkable. It's hard to believe, actually.
What about that, Tim? 2 men behind the ball. Why now? You're dominating in midfield. Stay with what's got you here.
Exactly, but I mean, Fremantle haven't put any players behind the ball, so they've got 2 extras at this stoppage.
McLean having a rest. He's been so important. McLean, what's he had? 27 disposals today. 13 in the first half, 14. McDonald hacks it forward. And the man of the moment, this 19-year-old Wanamiri on to Green. It was nearly off. He's on the wrong side, but you know, he's good enough to kick this.
He has a natural fade from left to right, so this will suit his kicking.
This is icing on the cake if he kicks this. This gets them home, you reckon? This almost puts the Dockers away. He kicked the first goal for the Demons today. They were hatless for an hour, the Demons, and right now you reckon he could just about close this off. Not bad. Very good. It's touched. Wow.
Well, that'll be interesting to see again. Ball comes out intended for Sandilands. He was held, and the big guy, the focal point, has to find something now. Lift his flagging teammates. Gilmore goes out wide. Shammer, forward of left half back. Again the short one, this time to the wing. Ibbotson, who started so well. Who would have thought it? Melbourne by 9. They trailed by 50 at half-time. Long down towards half forward. Rivers came hard.
He's that free play.
It out of bounds.
Dennis, he's that free play that got behind the ball, so he read that beautifully. Stayed in the defensive 50, saw the kick going out wide. This is the one that, gee, that looked over the line.
Don't forget you've got to factor in the fat bit apparently. But even so, Gilmore, controversy, and they're all coming from the same script. Dodgy goal, time problems, Farmer snaps and kicks it behind. This is probably 3 or 4 weeks of footy the AFL would love to forget, despite some great games. 118, 110. Oh, McDonald went looking for Warnock, who fell over. Farmer tracks back, dutifully gets it away. Solomon, who's been terrific, inside the forward 50. Bell was up in front, fell behind McManus. Hard one for Drum. Mundy is through. Mundy is missed. Makes the point he was pushed in the back. May have a case.
What price a draw, Dennis?
Shorting by the minute, Tim.
I didn't ask.
I didn't know my line.
At least Tim knows who I am this week. Here's Morton. Melbourne through Green. Wanamiri.
Hasn't it been outstanding in this final quarter? This will be his 15th touch.
Good kick in the end. To Maloney's, they've all lifted, haven't they? Maloney's been one that's lifted.
They all needed to, though.
Well, Dean Bailey signalled him out, well, along with Nathan Carroll at quarter time. Remember that look he gave Maloney? He went 1, 2, 3 bad kicks. Here's Bruce.
It's got to be one-on-one footy now from Fremantle. They've got to just shut them down and try and win the ball back. There's plenty of time.
We talked 30 minutes about decision making, Tim, for Melbourne under pressure. This is
going to test them
now.
Yeah, this is really going to test them. But Fremantle have to get right up in their faces and just stop these kicks from sticking. That's too much space to bait.
Bruce to Bate. Talked a lot about Bates' revival after half-time. First match for the year. He's done a terrific job. He's got a Lucy. He's got McLean on his own. He's going to load it up, though, and go inside the 50. Robbo, one of the targets. Under pressure, Johnson went to ground. Hasn't got it out yet. It'll be a ball up.
Dean Bailey on the edge of something special. He's worried about the clock, and why not? Peter Bell, brilliantly done. Sandilands, that was ambitious. McDonald stepped around Mundy. Here's a chance now for Bruce. Under pressure, snaps, big leap Robbo. Fingertips to it across the line. Makes no difference to Fremantle's plight, really. They're down by 8 points in midfield. Palmer, the run of Bell. Drives it towards the outer side wing. Pavlich has got it. No time to rest now. Back to Bell. The old heads combining. Bell around the outer side. Brilliant kick. Tarrant, I think his first possession of the second half.
Crowley's pushed deep. He's just got to move it on from here.
He's 60 metres out, Chris Tarrant. Clock is down to 2 minutes. That's not the spot for it. The same problem we talked about before. Now Davey ambles away. Settles, comes back to the middle. Frawley, great show of confidence by Davey. Bruce, they've got the extra man out there. McLean, Warnock around the outer side wing.
And it goes long, a percentage kick towards the boundary line. Wanamiri and Thornton.
Gee, you expect some more desperation from Fremantle this desperate stage of the game, though, wouldn't you? They look tired, though. Melbourne have run them ragged in the second part of this half.
So that attendance almost up to 20,000. It was a talking point all week. And there's a red and blue wave of excitement here at the moment. Crowley threw it out in the end. Palmer very good early to Drum. Last roll of the dice, you reckon. McManus's kick's a beauty. And who better to give it to? Can he kick number 6? He looked like being the match winner earlier. I don't think it's going to be a goal, but it puts them... No, within 7 points, which is not going to help them right now. That might have been it. How big's this kick in?
He had to take the kick quickly, but he didn't actually line himself up squarely with the goal.
Wheatley drives.
It's a great kick.
Bruce marks. And now 50.
And clock stops.
7 points the difference. Crowley gives up 50. And Bruce now in the ideal spot to waste a little time. McDonald is peeling off. Bell not watching him, walking with his head down. Oh, that's no good. That is terrible. By a great player in Peter Bell. Probably thinking about a move back to Geraldton. Here's McDonald. Around the boundary. Bruce, Bell, trying to corral him. Taken high was Green. Bell steals it. Back comes Green. Clever little hand pass. Miller, who's been terrific, throws it out of bounds. Throw in. And the clock, Bruce, is down to 38 seconds. And Melbourne, you would think, have won their first of the season.
Well, this has been remarkable.
Robbo to Bruce. To Dodd. Palmer back to McDonald, their captain for the day. Back to McLean. Dodd to Palmer. Hard running. Still hard running. Over the top. They're 7 points behind though. Gilmore's kick. Tarrant. Big mark. Not quite. Wait for the siren. Bad handball. Farmer hacks it. Well, there's a goal the difference. With time about to win it for the D's. It's the second biggest comeback ever since half-time by any team, and they've done it.